Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
What's going on? This is Totally Blitzed podcast, the show about shots, smoke, and good old football. And I'm your boy, Paul, Pick'em Win'em Contra. Got this new shot glass I'm going to show off real quick before I take it to the dome. And as always, I got my boy with me.
Man, Lil KK, a.k.a. the Don P. White, a.k.a. Kev Waterboy, some boy, a.k.a. the motherfucker that had to deal with this bullshit-ass technology. We've been trying to start this show for like 30 minutes. My laptop be on that bullshit. I can't even use my beautiful mic today. La 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 la. Can't even use that thing today. But it's okay. We finna talk some football. Fuck what you heard. Fuck what you don't know. And fuck what you do know. That's just how I feel.
Now, we had some crazy games over this fucking weekend from the snowy blizzard battle on Monday night between the Patriots and the Bills. To some absolute dog walking like the Colts did to the Texans. But before we jump into that, I just had a quick little segment I want to run down with Kev. He gave me a brilliant idea either the last episode or the episode before that. He said something, and over the days, it kind of stirred in my mind. He doesn't even know yet what the segment is, but I did tell him be prepared.
I was about to say, I definitely don't know what this shit is.
So I'm just going to real quick. Before we jump into the segment, Kev, you have anything you wanted to say about your weekend?
I had a good weekend. It was, what did I do Saturday? I had a pretty smooth weekend. Got a lot of sleep. Got caught up on some sleep because that's something a nigga hasn't been doing recently. And niggas making more moves. Niggas is making moves, man. I'm sad that I couldn't get a win on Sunday, but can't win them all.
Can't win them all. That's true. All right, I just have one question for you. NFC or AFC?
I'm an NFC guy, but right now the AFC is looking like that squad right now.
All right, so we're gonna go with the AFC this episode. Next episode we'll do the NFC. I'm gonna call this segment, Kev, and you'll know why, because you're the one that gave me the.
I got an idea of what you're talking about.
We're gonna do pretenders versus contenders. And I'm not talking about the teams, because we all know the teams' records. We all know who actually might be going to the bowl, who might not be. I'm talking about their quarterbacks. And I need to know, if you're a franchise, no matter the situation, you have a good old line, you have everything you need. How do you feel about this quarterback? Is he a pretender or is he a contender?
Baker Mayfield, pretender.
Well, let's start off with the team right now coming off Monday night. We had the Patriots. How do you feel about Mac Jones?
Contender.
How do you feel about Josh Allen? We're going down the divisions.
Man, he's not a pretender, but they paid him a lot of money that he's not being what that guy that they thought he was going. That they paid all that paper for, and cut Tyrod Taylor for it.
That's true. What about Tua Tagovailoa?
Ooh.
Pretend I'm not here. Pretend like I'm not. I need to know the honest truth. How you feeling? Contender.
When you say contender, you mean contending to continue to get wins, or contending as a starting quarterback in the league, like a top.
I see it as if you're a franchise and you had, like, it doesn't matter what situation you're in right now. I don't care if you're the Chiefs, you have Mahomes. Of course, you're not giving up anybody for him. But I'm just saying, if you had a good team and all you need is a missing piece as a quarterback.
Oh.
Is this guy? Are you rooting for him, or like if you're the Browns? We all know how the answer going to be. He's a pretender.
Okay.
But all he needs is that guy. So, like, how do you feel about Tua? Is he a contender or pretender?
I'm gonna consider him a contender at the moment, but boy, if you slip, I'm going to go get Deshaun Watson. Like, I'm not playing. I'm not
playing for that man.
You slip even slightly, I'm getting Deshaun Watson. Like, I'm getting Jalen Hurts for you. Like.
What about the New York Jets, Zach Wilson?
Oh, pretender like a motherfucker. I like Matt White over that dude.
Oh, all right. Now we're jumping to another AFC. AFC North. We have Lamar.
Contender.
Joey B.
Contender. Future champ.
Baker Mayfield.
Pretender, but It's because he doesn't play, because like I'm not a fan of Baker Mayfield. I'm not. And like, but I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If you told me I had to choose between Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson, Baker Mayfield, I'm trying to think, not rookies. Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. I'm gonna take Baker Mayfield. Even though Tyrod Taylor, like, if I have a good, even though I'd much rather just invest in an O-line and a running back, I'll take them to manage the game for him. I need somebody. But like, if we fourth quarter, hey, get the fuck out of here. Hey, Tyrod, come on. Tyrod, come on. Tyrod, come on. I don't know what the fuck you got going on. Tyrod, come on. Tyrod, you straight? All right, come on. So yeah, I'm gonna give him pretender, but like, he could be a contender. They just have to put him in a better they have to figure out a situation that he can fit in, because he's in a great situation.
All right, and it closes out the North. We have Big Ben's old ass right now. The way he is right now. Final year, Big Ben.
Definitely a pretender, but I think he pretends to be as bad as he actually is. Like, I feel like the team would still be contending, but it's just like he's immobile. It's just like there are things that you just can't deal with in this league anymore. Like, you can't have an immobile quarterback. Like, a quarterback, Tom Brady, you get 11-yard rushes. Like, like, you just can't have an immobile quarterback. He's 18 years in the league, so he pretends to be worse than he actually is. Like, he's not supposed to be that bad, but like, them boys be boofing. But they gotta win this week.
All right, and then this one's a little shaky over here in this division. We're gonna go with two easy ones. Tyrod Taylor on the Houston. Pretender. I think you already said that a little earlier. What about Trevor Lawrence as a rookie?
I think Tyrod Taylor is a contender. He just never got the chance. So he just looks like a pretender. So he's a contender and pretender in a pretender fit.
Yeah, he's a contender, but he hung around with nothing but pretenders all his life.
Yeah.
So, like, you only choose the people you hang around, right?
Gotta watch the company you keep, man, because niggas is disrespectful.
And then what about Trevor Lawrence? Because some of these rookies do have a bad, like, I will say Zach Wilson's look bad, but it's also like the Jets.
There's a lot of picks. He's a pretender right now. And then I would, because if Sam Darnold kept eating, I'd be like, I would still be on the Zach Wilson has a chance. But I've only seen the Jets be good for like 3 years in a row. Like, that's it. Revis, Mark Sanchez, and then the thing about that Jets team is that all those people that was on the team to make them good were still on the team when they were bad. So like, I just don't like the Jets organization at all. But Trevor Lawrence, though, contender.
Hey, I'll give it to you.
I like Trevor Lawrence. I think he needs to learn he needs to get better with those comeback drives in the fourth. I think that's only just going to come with time and experience. But he's a future contender. Like, and I don't know if he's going to be on the Jaguars forever, but he's a future contender. He's athletic. He tries his best not to make mistakes. And when he does that, he usually doesn't do anything crazy good. But like, he just is not stupid. Like, and that's what you need a quarterback, just a not idiot.
People always seem to forget that, like, not trying to compare it because these are two different coaches, two different teams, two different players. But like, people have short-term memories. Like, they'll forget Peyton Manning went like 1-15, had the interception record his first year, and like, let's just cool down on like Trevor Lawrence sucks talk. Like, he's.
Mm-hmm. Hey, but I'm gonna keep it a buck though. We don't say those two words on the podcast. We can't. Me and Slick came up with a name for that boy. Well, I don't know if we came up with it, but that's what we call him. The Sheriff.
The Sheriff. Yeah, I was like, that's a nickname, the Sheriff.
We only refer to him as the Sheriff.
And then these two teams right here, it's kind of coin toss. Either way you want to look at it, we have Carson Wentz.
Contender. He's a pretender on a contending team. Like, cause like, I'm all on for crash. I call him crash on sight Wentz. He gonna crash, and like, that's great. But if Jonathan Taylor doesn't get a touchdown in 10 straight games, this team is not going to the playoffs.
Good point.
And nobody's done that since LaDainian Tomlinson.
And then Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, see, these are, as I said, I thought this was a pretty, like, the other one is pretty self-explanatory, but this one I thought was he's a good specimen for this category.
He was a contender with Arthur Smith. He's a contender right now. But ask me this question again next season. I think my answer will change. I'm not gonna lie to you. But we'll see. He's a contender right now. Like right now, he's a contender. He's had to deal with a lot of injuries and stuff like that. But let me see what them boys talking about next season. He probably needs a new contract next season too.
And then we got the AFC West. We got a lot of contenders here.
Contender, and
Teddy B, I think, is the only pretender here.
Ooh.
And that hurts me to say.
Yeah, but let's put it in the. So I say so. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is a contender. Like nigga can win MVP. The individual can win MVP at any moment. Jay Herbo, contender, but not yet. Not right now. Well, the way they bust the fucking Chargers last year. So yeah, Jay Herbo contender. The Bengals, the Chargers can't bust the Chargers, but the Bengals, yeah. So Jay Herbo contender, motherfucking Kyler Murray.
Derek Carr now though.
Oh, Kyler Murray. Oh, that's on NFC West. AFC West.
Yeah,
Derek
this is
Carr.
Las Vegas
Ooh.
and Denver. Yeah, what about Derek Carr? He's the only. I'd give him contender status just because I've never seen him have a bad season, no matter who's around him and what scenario, who's the coach.
Yeah, I think he's a contender on a team that doesn't know if they're pretending to be good or bad. Like, because it's the week to week. Like this team is not the same team every week. And like Derek does his thing consistently. I'll give him that. Derek does what Derek does every week. I'll give him that. He's like a solid Eli Manning without the interceptions to me. He starts every game. And
more yardage. He does be stinging like 300. Like I think he's leading the league in yards right now, or if not one, he's two.
I believe it. He's like a. I wouldn't even call him. I wouldn't even call him like that. A prime Matt Ryan, because prime Matt Ryan was a baller. But motherfucker, he's just like he's a safe quarterback. Like if you were to start a season every year with him, and if you got a good team, like a really really good team out of him, you guys will win the championship. I promise you, you guys will win the Super Bowl.
He might be similar to the Matt Stafford. He might be the AFC's Matt Stafford.
Nah, because the Lions are pitiful, like like consistently. The Lions are genuinely pitiful. I think the Raiders just never will go over the hump. Like there's always, and once they fix something, there's gonna be more problems somewhere else. You just had a great receiving court like 2 weeks ago. Boom. And if Hunter Renfrow, Deshaun Jackson, they didn't sign Deshaun Jackson, they would have nothing. Because Hunter Renfrow can't hold all that down by himself.
Well, he's not the receiver room. I understand.
Yeah,
he's a tight end.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a tight. But he's receivers. Like receivers. Anybody receiving the ball is a receiver to me. But even though tight ends are tight ends, but yeah, like this team is that team's not supposed to be as bad as it actually is. The defense doesn't stay too consistent. Like sometimes they play a little slower. Sometimes they're lit up fast, coming for your neck. So like that's a team that's pretending, and they don't know what they're pretending to be yet.
And then Teddy B is the final quarterback.
Teddy B is
he's similar to Tyrod Taylor to me.
He's a pre-pretend. You know, I used to actually get them confused. Like him, Geno Smith, and Tyrod Taylor. Like I don't know what it was. I swear they all went to West Virginia and they all used to throw to Sammy Watkins. Like I swear. But he's a pre-pretender. Like, all right, what the fuck? Like the Saints Teddy B was the truth. The Panthers Teddy B, yeah,
no CMC, but
like you better than what Cam would have done. And this
Vikings Teddy B was on the bench.
I didn't even know he was on the Vikings.
That was where he got drafted.
Oh, okay. And then he definitely was, because he had Cordell Patterson. Nah, he had some receiver that I used to fuck with, black.
No, he had Cordell Patterson, and he was on special teams. That was the same year they drafted Anthony Barr.
So yeah, I'd say he's a pre-pretender. Like he's not like you could be not a good quarterback, but you could be a solid QB, a solid starter, somebody I could have a good running back around. And as long as you don't turn the ball over, we can get wins. Like you could be out Carson. That system should be very similar to Carson Wentz, but instead they use him to win games, and I don't think that's what the game plan was when they signed him.
That's true. I can see that Carson Wentz analogy, and I can also see like whereas Teddy B's in a situation where they're trying to have the running game win the games every game. Sometimes the Colts want to lean on Carson a little bit more than they should.
Facts. And that's what be getting them in trouble. That's how they started 0-4.
Well, That wraps us up for this week. Next episode, we're gonna run through probably the NFC. Just see who's the pretender, who's contender quarterbacks.
Hey, I'm gonna be ready for that because I'm all NFC, so I'm talking shit. That nigga suck.
And the other thing I was gonna point out before we jump into these things is I've been thinking about it. So we're gonna close out our picks for the year, and then when we do the playoffs, I will keep tally of all our playoff picks. And
I'm going undefeated.
And then to make it interesting, there will be a WWE belt on the line that has the king of the picks. Or I don't know. We're gonna find a name for this belt, and whoever wins holds the belt for the year, and is the reigning champ.
Oh, you got my attention now.
Yeah, I thought I was like,
I'm coming out every episode with my belt. Like, hey, you talking to the champ?
You might have it framed up back there.
Kev the champ support. Like, it's gonna be a whole different. Don't let me. I'm going undefeated. I need my belt. Is it gonna be spinning? Is it gonna spin?
It might spin. We gotta do some shopping. We need to look around, see what.
We gonna see. Hey, don't let us come out with a custom belt. Don't let us come out with a custom belt. Oh no. Hey, that was a great ass idea. Hey, y'all not ready for that one.
Yeah, it's coming. But so now let's recap our picks. Let's talk about our picks. I want to start with this one just because on my sheet our games are back to back. So I was like, why not start with our games? Who else talk better than for our teams? We had the Dolphins beating Giants at home. I'm not going to talk too much on it because it was Mike Glennon. Xavier Howard got an interception. That boy's still eating. Tua did his thing. Everyone wants to complain about, I think Logan Ryan, the corner, was like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to play backup quarterback now because I can throw 2-yard passes like Tua or some slick shit. And I like he said that shit in the post conference. And then Devontae Parker, when it posted on Instagram or whatever, Devontae Parker, I like to see the teammates having his back. Because Devontae Parker was like, shut up, little boy, take this out. And I was like, all right, I like that. Like, I like seeing that, hey, bro, it's not just me and other people who believe in Tua. Like, it is the locker room. Like, even the receiver, like Jalen Waddle and him have a little interview together. Like, they just have this chemistry going right now. Our defense is rolling. Jalen Phillips, rookie, got 2.5 sacks last game. Now he's right behind Micah Parsons. He has like 8.5 sacks. So, like, I think Micah Parsons is gonna probably win the rookie of the year, but I loved how like he was making no noise the first 5-6 weeks. He wasn't getting no real field. He wasn't on the field for no more than like 60% of the snaps, if that. And now they're kind of like, we're gonna use him. We're gonna use Holland, our other first-round pick, and like this defense is moving and this defense is playing.
That's nice. That's really good. That's really good because you guys were a good defense last year. That's good. I didn't watch
6-7 now, boy.
Tell me how the Giants. Tell me how the Giants looked. I just need to know what the Giants' defense was looking like.
Their defense wasn't bad. It's just I will say one thing I really love about Tua is the fact that he's just so accurate, and that is what like we're doing 2-yard passes, but there'll be slants, and it's not like Bradbury's not on him. It's just Tua's putting the ball into a position up and away in the middle, like, and he's leading the receiver like right on the dimes. And I won't say that they played bad defense because Tua didn't have like a 90% completion percentage. He was like 30 or 41. So this was our first game where there's a lot of miscommunication. They stuffed our run game. Not like it was anything special to begin with, but we only had like 60 yards as a team. So it was really all Tua putting them nothing but passing yards. Their offense couldn't get nothing going. Shaquan, I don't know exactly. I had him in fantasies. I had him on the bench. I know he put up like 50 yards or so. I don't know how many carries, but I put it more on the Giants' offense not getting anything but 3 field goals the whole game. Because if they could have scored at least a touchdown, maybe put some pressure on us, maybe it's a different. But we just really had our way all game because we never worried about getting beat on defense ever. Like there was just this confidence of like, oh, we can go punt right now. It don't matter because when we get the ball back, like we're gonna get it back.
Niggas ain't got shit to say, man. That's real. That's real. Hey, congrats on the dub, man. I wish.
Hey, 6-7 going on bye week, and we got the Jets next week, and I'll be there. So 7-7, hopefully, and then after that, it's like we just have to hope for other teams to lose because the AFC is so deep.
Nice. Nice. That's nice. That's really nice. I'm fucking with y'all, but off to my game.
Yeah, tell me about your game. I had a little bit of notes, but I was just like, I'm really gonna let Kev talk about it.
It was great. I'm so I like don't like the outcome, but I thought we played a lot better than a lot of people expected. I wouldn't say we played better than I expected. I just think we played sound football. We played sounder football than like what was originally thought was coming. So we didn't get blown out. That was good. Didn't cover the 11, tough, but it showed me some things, right? So first off, we're 0-10 against Tom Brady, and like,
damn,
I already knew that though. Like before the stats and the numbers and all that shit came up, I already knew that because I felt it. Like I've seen this shit every year, and I used to be like, damn, why don't we beat the Patriots? And like I remember seeing them being up in the Super Bowl, thinking like, yo, we never beat these guys before. Like, this is gonna be crazy. Like I remember that shit didn't happen, motherfucker. So there's just some people you can't beat in this world. Fuck Tom Brady. And it's not even, and I hate him with a passion, but you gotta love something to hate it first. Because I love to hate the nigga. That's probably the only person I call a nigga on the show. I love to hate that nigga. But it was a good game. I think the first half was we just kept up with them. We scored 17 to their 20. And it was just like the defense, they kind of did they did whatever they wanted in the zone. It looked like we didn't want anything to go over the top, but Gronk still got one over the top. And like it was a good first half. The second half, I think that's when we slowed down. We was getting stopped more. I don't think we scored. We technically didn't score for a minute because the last score was a pick six. And thank God for that pick six. Because Tom Brady's his touchdown interception rate was 28-4 against us. And like I saw that shit the day before they posted, I was like 24-3. So you told me if this man scores 4 touchdowns, they're gonna cheat the fuck out of us on Twitter all week. And it's like, but Tom Brady just has the Falcons numbers all day. Like, fuck that guy. Like, you know how you gotta give the dudes their flowers and respect while they're here?
Yeah.
Nah, I gotta give him his hate as long as possible. Like,
especially now that he's in your division.
How do you not beat? And that's another thing. Like, if you looked at the list of all the people they were showing, like people that were streaking against and never lost against, and it was like Dante Culpepper's like 14-0 against the Lions, and like there was like 3 other players that I couldn't think of. But all those teams were in their division. The Falcons were in Tom Brady's division till last year, so you have no familiarity against these guys. Like you're literally just coming through and fucking them boys up. And like, there's a good chance like one of these years was against Michael Vick.
Yeah, especially early in his career. Yeah.
And they would have motherfucking, if Michael Vick and the boys could have beat Donovan McNabb without T.O., they would have played in the Super Bowl that year.
That was a crazy, crazy NFC championship.
That shit was wild. I'm not even gonna get into that. But Tom Brady just has our number. I like that we could run the ball though. That's kind of interesting for us to be able to run the ball. We ran the ball well last week, but now we ran the ball against them, and they don't let nobody run the ball. You heard Bruce Arians. I don't care who you are. You're not gonna run. Nobody's gonna run the damn ball on us. Like
run the ball.
Like so. That showed that we got some weapons, and Mike Davis and Cordell Patterson can be consistent, and we can continue getting some more dubs and stuff like that. But hey, I'm loving the season right now. The entire Falcons season, we're 5-7, loving it. I'm so glad, like, because I didn't think this was going to be the outcome when he started the podcast. So I was just like, we're loving it. We're still winning. Let's keep this energy. Let's keep going, man. Falcons Twitter, stand up. I fuck with y'all. Y'all fuck with me. Bomb trading, you know what I'm saying? But we just got to keep going, man. We got I don't know who we play next week, but it's not not the same. Saints' last game, possibly the Panthers. I know we got the Lions. We got a couple games.
You play the Panthers.
Yeah, we got a couple games that should go either or. So like, let's get these dubs, man. Let's take number 2 in the division. That's what we're going for. And like, that's a very successful. And so far, we got a very successful season. So man, let's just keep going, man. What the next game is?
Next game, we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about the Cardinals 33 beating the Bears at Soldier Field.
So it's crazy, right? Because we definitely didn't talk about this game on the preview. Because I was like, I had a whole 35-second monologue about how the chosen ones are back, They're gonna be high flying and taking all over the place. And it showed Kyler. They said, I didn't watch this game because I was really single game oriented this week, so I was really watching like kind of just like specific teams and specific players and specific games. So, but Kyler Murray threw two touchdowns, ran 2 in, I believe. The motherfucking, they said he looked rusty in the beginning, but I seen from the highlights I seen, he looked normal. So you know how that shit goes. So what did you take away from this game?
From this game, I honestly didn't think they were going to come out slinging it because I didn't think Kyler or DeAndre Hopkins would really play because they're game time decisions. And if they did play, especially D-Hop, I thought was going to be limited. And he was kind of limited outside of that one big splash play for the touchdown. I don't know if it was designed for him. I mean, it was a 4th and 2, and they got a 30-yard tut out of it. But afterwards, he wasn't really involved anymore. But Kyler, I mean, I didn't watch it that much. I only watched like the segments and the highlights out of the game. I heard the same thing you heard, like he looked rusty. I'm not too sure even if his rustiness, like a rusty Kyler is still probably better than like 60, 65, 70% of the league in the quarterback. And I didn't think if they played, they would play well because of the cold and with their injuries being on the bone and stuff. Like the cold doesn't help with those injuries. One bad hit and you're feeling it. So I'll give it to him. And it was in Soldier Field late was it December? So early December in Soldier Field.
Cold as fuck outside.
Yeah, and with the team and the Bears that really hasn't given up. Like this is not like a team that was laying down at home. Like Andy Dalton tried his best. I will say the interceptions early because it was like an early lead they had. Those interceptions helped because they got those 2 early interceptions. They scored on them, and that's where people were saying the Bears looked like they're kind of rallying back. Like if they didn't make those early stops, but it's football. Like you can't say if we did this. Like that's what happened. Like so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I give it a good team win. I just want to see. I'm just still not sold on Coach Cliffsbury, but I just want to see how this team reacts because no one's giving them the credit they deserve going into. They've won 7 road games, so it's not even like they need home field advantage when it comes to playoffs. Like if they need to travel, they've won 7 of their like road games, so they're not really too worried.
Them boys are getting those, but the thing is, they went. It made I seen somebody was trying to make a point that Kyler Murray could possibly be the MVP just off the way that they're winning and stuff like that, even though he will miss 3 games. And I was just sitting here like, I don't know about that one, man. But they did. But I feel like it's kind of the other way around. I feel like you kind of look at the team and you'd be like, oh, well, they won 2 or 3 without him, so maybe it's not just him. Maybe there's something else. Bringing them boys to the dub, bringing them boys all the way there.
Yeah, and that was their defense is like without JJ Watt, Chandler Jones is still playing good. I can't remember Chandler Jones or Chris Jones. I get them 2 mixed up. And then Buda Baker, I think, on interception. Like this team is filled with stars. And this team is like their stars are making plays. Like there's a lot of teams filled with stars, and sometimes their stars aren't making big plays. But I feel like every week their stars are making big plays when they play. It's not like some no-name guy. It's usually like Buda Baker did this, or Chandler Jones 3 sacks, or Kyler playing like a fucking video game. D-Hop catching game-winning touchdowns. So like Christian Kirk is not a bad number 2. He ain't no slouch, but like. Him putting up 100 yards, but then D-Hop scores the touchdowns. And it's just like this is a star-driven team, and it's working. Same with like the Packers. Like it's typically Devontae Adams there. When you know who's getting interceptions, you know who's making the big plays.
That's my NFC Championship right there. Packers Cardinals rematch.
That'll be a good one. Speaking of a good one, we had the Chargers and Bengals. You switched it. We were both right at the beginning, but you just wanted to make things a little spicy this weekend. I understand. Thank you for taking one for the team.
I'm an alcoholic. I guess I'm an alcoholic because I do stupid shit. I bet on the Bengals. Who would do some dumbass shit like that? Especially against my cousin, Jay Herbo.
Hey, Jay Herbo on the road ain't no slouch now. But
every game is a road game for him.
This was like you watch. I don't know. It felt like watching 3 different football games for me. Like the first quarter and a half was one football game.
24-0.
Third quarter was its own football game. And then
24-20.
Yeah, then the fourth quarter was its own football game where it was like
41-24.
Chargers blowing shit out. Bengals rallying 20. It was 24-0 at one point. Then it was 24-22 after Joey B and them boys came back rallying. Like it was like they get the interceptions on Jamar Chase and the Chargers are rallying. And then the Bengals force, I believe, an interception. And then they start rallying and start scoring some points. And they're running the ball well with Joe Mixon.
But once Joe Mixon fumbled, boy.
Got his shit blown up. Broke his shit. His finger is fucking the size of my fist. That fumble, and then Chargers off to the races again. 17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, 41-22. This was a fun game.
Yeah, that shit was a fun game to watch. I remember I was talking shit like, damn, Bengals just want me to be fucked up. But motherfucking, and then I started seeing them rally back and stuff like that. So it's interesting. How many picks did Joe Burrow throw? I feel like he threw a couple.
He threw 2. But their defense was getting at him. He got sacked 6 times. Like, this is a game where everyone's going to talk about the offenses. But real quick, like, Justin Herbert got sacked 4 times. They got an interception on him. They got 2 on Joey B, 6 sacks on Joey B. There was 2 fumbles for the LA Chargers that were recovered. There was 2 fumbles for Bengals. Like, there was a lot of defensive fucking plays going on, but the points just kept coming.
Doing their thing. Defense was balling. I like to see shit like that. But this game was interesting to me. I thought it was really good. 2 sophomore quarterbacks. You wanted to see who would everybody. It started off the question on every podcast. Who you starting the franchise with? I said it'd be smarter to start a franchise with Jay Herbo, but it would be funner to start a franchise with Joey B. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. You know, I
preach it.
So. But that showed that, like, but when it comes to playoffs, it's showing something. Because, like, every time we feel like the Bengals, anytime we want to say, like, oh, yo, the Bengals are that team, the Bengals are the squad, the Bengals are about to do this shit, they always do some shit to let us be like, hold up, who? The sense of who? And then the same thing with the Chargers. They play in streaks. They play in slumps. Like, they'll be 4-0, then they'll be 4-4, and now they're probably on a 2-game win streak, 3-game win streak.
7. They're both sitting at 7-5 after this week now. I think they're like the same tier team. Like they're like AFC,
Literally.
NFC versions. Oh no, they're both AFC. My bad. But like they're just I won't say the same because they're not built the same. But like they both got wide receiver stars. They both got running back stars. They both got young quarterback, and this defense is young and balling on both sides.
If you change their jersey, you switch the jersey, you won't tell the difference.
Yeah. Honestly, though, these are the teams that are scary because this is how, like, those Eli Manning Giants make it into the playoffs and then go on a 4-0 win streak and win a chip. Like, hey, I'm not writing these teams off. These are these fun wild card teams if they make it. Like, hey, are they hot this week or are they in a slump this week?
Bucks won that shit last year from the wild card. So the wild card is always something to watch.
And then we got this. This one's the funnest game of the whole slate right here. The Vikings losing 27. Jared Goff, MCDC getting their first win in Detroit. Detroit 29 at home, 1-10-1 now. They will not be the first team to go 0-16-1. They will not be the first team to go 0-17 either.
I wish we had a soundboard because that was supposed to be the woohoo!
Yeah, it went loud, boy.
Woo! Hey, I was rooting for them, even though I picked the Vikings. I was rooting for them boys, and shout out them boys. They got the win because they took it last second. I'm not gonna say no names, but somebody was telling me in the group chat they were like, "Hey man, they finna lose by a field goal." And I seen the Devin boys go down. I seen the score go to 2 points, and I was like, God damn it, this motherfucker has a damn crystal ball or something. But nah, that shit was that was a good game. I was proud of them. The Lions is lit. They looked real lit. Jared Goff still ain't got no drip. But he threw that fourth quarter touchdown that last to St. Brown. St. Brown caught that shit. And I like the routes that they ran the defense because the defender had to choose like one or the other, and he definitely chose the wrong one. Because Jared Goff had the laser. do that in the St. Brown. That's all they needed. So shout out Lions, shout out the whole city of Detroit. They needed that shit. That was a good dub. That was a good dub for them. And like, let's see if they can get another one.
Jared Goff got his first win without Sean McVay as his coach. It was 0-7 his rookie year without Sean McVay. Then he was 0-10 without. So he was 0-17. So now he's like 1-17 without Sean McVay. That was like some crazy nugget they had. But they got a delay of game in that final drive and still won. Yeah, like that should just tell you we're this Vikings 50-50 team. And here's some more little things I gotta point out. Vikings defense has given up when on game-winning drives, they're 0-8. On game-winning or tying drives this season, the Viking defense is 0-8. They've given up 101 points in the last 2 minutes of games, which is close to the NFL record of 107, which they set last year. So this team is the best team, the worst team ever for these past 2 seasons for the last 2 minutes. Like, so this is how this team loses. So Mike Zimmer, defensive guru, all you want to say, I don't know what he's got going on in the last 2 minutes. If he's running those prevent, if all he's running is prevent, or if he's doing blitzing, I have no idea. You can't be mad at the calls, but this is not just a one game. They're 0-8 on game-winning drives this season, or 0-8 on game-winning or tying drives. Their defense, like, it's just that's how bad they've been, and it doesn't matter who you are because the Detroit Lions just proved that.
That's literally fucking insane. Because like I thought this team was gonna be the one to sneak in the wild card for the NFC, but like, how does your defense give up 101 points anywhere, let alone the last 2 minutes?
Yeah, they're about to blow out the last season record of 107. I thought 107 was a lot, but I'm like, bro, they still got like 5 more games to go.
You know what I was saying? Like, if you told me the record, I was like 101. The record got to be like 155 or 160. That's fucking insane. I want to play 50 football.
Jamal Williams is the back this game. But shout out to Goff. He played his best game, I think, all year. 296 yards, 3 touchdowns, a win, and 1 interception.
Oh, I like how you said a win. That's all you need. But like, hey man, that's what we've been waiting on. No, I wish we could have been more excited, but like, we definitely chose against the Lions this week.
Damn near, yeah. But it's on a high note, super high note, the Colts 31-0 completely beat the dog shit out of the Houston Texans. Tyrod Taylor looked bad. I won't say he looked bad. That Colts defense is looking so good. They pitched a shutout, okay?
Solid.
I don't know if we want to spend any time on that one. Then we got the Eagles and Jets. Gardner Mania, baby. I'm happy we had that little combo just to see where your head was at. And I'm glad Gardner showed up. Minshew Mania.
I'm glad you told me that he was playing too, because that made me feel dumb. It was a good kind of dumb, because like I was in the Jets, bro. I just like, yo, the Vikings, the Jaguars went 1-15. Like, that was the quarterback. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, the Jags are Jags though.
What are the rushing stats on them boys?
For the Eagles?
Mm-hmm.
They Miles Sanders got his first like career bulk of, not career, but he's finally got the bulk of the load because Boston Scott was out and they were splitting with him. But so he had 24 carries, 120 yards. He did break off a long one for like 30-something yards early. It was kind of like showing like this guy's kind of moving shit. Kenneth Gainwell, like 6th-round rookie, who I was kind of high on in preseason. He had 12 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown. But he's more of a receiving back. He had 5 catches, 33 yards. So like 174 yards in between both of them on the ground. So they were really running.
What about my dog Minshew? He ain't get off on the RPOs.
4 carries, 11 yards.
Hey, that's all I needed to see. But hey, man, the sports gambling podcast, they disrespectful. They called that. They said that boy be out there with a little shoulder pads looking sexy. I was just like, nigga, what? But I seen the tape, and I was like, oh damn, that shoulder pads do look a little.
He has his own personal shoulder pads, a thing. He brings them himself.
Like he look like he got them at Sports Authority, like. But motherfucking, hey, shout out the Eagles. I said contenders. That's just where the contenders and pretenders thing came from. Because I said the Eagles is separating contenders and pretenders. That was a good win for them. They beat the Giants. The Vikings losing showed that like the NFC wild card is kind of wide open. Like it can go to anybody right now. The Redskins, the Eagles, the Vikings. They can literally go to any of them. I feel like none of those teams are too much better than the next one.
Yeah, they're all about even. I think there's a big jump from them and then the Rams, who's right now the other wild card team.
Oh yeah, that's a huge jump. And it's just cool to see like our usual suspects are there. Like where the Seahawks at? The Cowboys is up top. Like our usual suspects are there right now, which is interesting. Our usual suspects aren't in their normal places. The Falcons are still in the hunt, and don't get me wrong, it's because there's this extra wild card. The extra playoff thingy is cool because like everybody still has a chance. Like that's never been a thing in the season. Usually like people start tanking, and people usually around here, so you start seeing people play a lot less aggressive because they and you think like, are they tanking? Do they stop care? Are they unmotivated? No, there's a lot of life left in a lot of these fucking teams. Like one of these teams want to come through 7-10 and they'll still make the playoffs, which is going to look like it's going to be possible.
No, I see like that extra wild card spot really has like made football, I won't say more exciting, but it is a little bit more exciting because these teams are not just giving up at halfway through the season. Putting out a rookie at the quarterback, putting out like just changing lineups just because they were fuck it.
Fact. And then it's an even because the NFL is probably one of the most even leagues in the world. Like you can really lose at any point in time. So like with that being said, all the random losses from good teams in every week randomly, like that shit adds up. That shit adds up with that extra playoff seat.
Hey, but I will say about this game wasn't a runaway early. Jets were up 12-7. The kicker missed both extra points. They started going for 2-point conversions after that. And but
it was a banger. Now I think about Jets scored. No, Eagles scored, Jets scored, Eagles scored, Jets scored. It was like 24-18 in the first quarter, some shit like that.
Yeah, well, halftime it was 24-18. It was 12-7 in the first, but yeah, 24. Like it was close. I was sitting there like, damn, like the Jets are showing a little bit of fight at home. Like they're not going down, they're not laying down. Like Zach Wilson, and that's the one thing I do appreciate about Zach Wilson is he's not afraid to make throws that other rookie quarterbacks are afraid to throw sometimes. And that sometimes if a team is caught sleeping, like Elijah Moore over the top is gonna happen. Shit like that, like a nice little 30-yard throw to Elijah Moore they had. So but hey, the Jets are still the Jets. Their defense is still not good. Their running game is still like I think that they have a worse running game than the Dolphins. And that's saying something. And Zach Wilson's in a sim. Like I want to hate on him because he's a Jet, but I will say he's just. I don't know how he would fare on the Bill Belichick system because that's not the type of player he is. But he's just not set up in a system where some other rookies like Mac Jones set up to win, whereas the Jets no one thought they were winning coming into this season. Like he's a set up to lose. So how can you make it look good if you're already set up to lose?
I think it was bad during the preseason when they not the preseason off like training camps and OTCs and all that OTAs, whatever you call them shit.
Yeah, training camps, OTAs, all that.
And the coaches were like, he's a rookie quarterback. You know, it's tough to be a rookie quarterback in this league. I immediately said, fade. I didn't even know his name yet. I was like, fade whoever the Jets quarterback is. Like, fade that dude. Like, that dude is not doing shit. But I came to learn about this Zach Wilson character. And he's a peculiar character. I think he has promise. Like, you asked me if he's a contender or pretender. I said he was a pretender, but I feel like that's just because of the jersey he's wearing. Like, when did we ever seen the Jets be good? Like, Mark said, like, they had 3 good years. Mark Sanchez, Daniel Tomlinson. I couldn't tell you who was on the defense, but they had a great high explosive Rick Ryan, a coach, Brandon Marshall. That was the only time I've ever seen the Jets be good. Like, I've never heard of the Jets as a good team. Like, I just don't know what be going on in New York. Because the same thing with the Knicks. Like, I've never known the Knicks to be good. And like, they made the play, and they had Melo at one point. Like, it's just New York right now. I don't know what they got going on. That's the gift that keeps on giving for me. So I respect Zach Wilson. I think he just hasn't reached his ceiling yet. As long as he doesn't reach the ceiling and fall off a cliff, he's Gucci.
All right, and last thing I will say about Minshew and the Eagles before we move on is Say it now. I can see Gardner Minshew and his personality and the way he's built and looks and the people who kind of ride for him. Send that man over to the Steelers.
Ooh, yeah, that would actually be a good one. Somebody needs to trade for him and somebody with some receivers.
I don't know if he's going to give y'all the wins or not, but hey, but right now where I am sitting, give me Minshew before I'm throwing out Big Ben.
Yeah, I definitely would like him over Mason Rudolph because I've never been a Mason Rudolph fan. I like Myles Garrett to beat it up.
Yeah, the first time you bring up Mason, the first time my head's like, bro, Myles Garrett, get that nigga the bop, or get that boy the bop.
Myles Garrett to get that boy a bop, but we not justifying violence. We about diplomacy over here. So it's like, but yeah, somebody needs to pick that boy. Somebody needs to trade for that boy. The Panthers, you see. Nah, the Panthers, I just feel like nobody good can go to the Panthers. The Panthers got to draft somebody.
Yeah, and the Panthers just let go of Joe Brady, offensive coordinator. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening over there.
Hey, how long has Matt Rule been a coach over there?
2 years.
Oh, he gone.
It's the same. He was there when Mike McCarthy became the coach of the Cowboys because it was between Matt Rule and McCarthy, and they took McCarthy and Matt Rule went to the Panthers.
That wasn't this season?
No, that was that was the season before because McCarthy was there when Dak got hurt.
Oh, okay.
But
he might have one more. I don't like it though.
We have someone who I think, hey, bro, Gardner Minshew and this man I have extreme admiration for. We have Tyler Heineke winning in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Ron Riverboat Rivera is getting dubs over there in Washington. Don't sleep. I think they won 4 in a row now. 6-6.
What was the first quarter like? I feel like this game was really slow because I remember seeing this game on the red zone and I just kept looking over and nothing was really happening.
The first quarter was Washington scored. That was the only score, but it was really just like Tyler. It was a lot of feeding Gibson. They didn't have the other running back who's more the receiving back, J.D. McKissick. But they had Antonio Gibson got like a whole bunch of carries. They fed him. Tyler Heineke with the smart short throws over the middle. I want to say boring. It was just like that first drive was methodical and smart, and then they score, and then it was a whole bunch of nothing until the fourth quarter. And there was nothing else but field goals from the Raiders, 7-6. I think I texted you that there was two. No, I texted somebody about the slugfest going on right now in Washington and Raiders, and I was like, neither. It was just both defenses were playing good. And they would get some drives going, and no, not really many 3-and-outs, but some drives punt, and then Derek Carr did the same thing on the other side. Josh Jacobs got a few runs. Josh Jacobs got a lot of passes, which is rare. Hunter Renfrow doesn't do anything too shiny, so he's doing these he's doing the dirty work, but then they'll get stopped and they punt the ball or they'll settle for the field goal after. And that's where most of the points came from, or I think all the points. Oh no, most of the points. Josh Jacobs taking in. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. I really should not be having I should not be fucking up before Sunday mornings because that should just be fucking up my entire vibe. Like I really don't even remember a lot of shit that happened. Because I'm really trying to remember what happened in this game. I can't remember anything that Derek did. I gotta
Derek went off. Hunter Renfrow had 9 catches, 102 yards.
Ooh.
But the crazy thing is Josh Jacobs does never catch his passes. This game he caught 9 passes, which was for at least my eyes in fantasy football, he has a whole new his ceiling has shot up. It's now they're using him in the passing game. This is a little different. But that also might be because Darren Waller's not around. And when Waller comes back, it might go back to the same.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of the offense. Huge. This boy gets double-digit targets on the regular.
Hey, this game was good. If you like defensive battles until the fourth quarter and then the two teams kind of go back and forth real quick, that was kind of how this game was to me. Not much.
I really want to see what happens because there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of great defensive stands that are being made, but with the way that the offenses have been rolling and high powered and just there's so much talent in the NFL right now. Does defense still win championships? Or could you shoot it out with somebody? Because the defense do that every week.
What I will say about defenses winning championships is most memorable, like last year, the Bucks ran through everything because of how good that defense was. And then when that offensive line for the Chiefs was hurt and to go up against that D line, it didn't matter who was the quarterback, even though that may be the best quarterback in the league. It didn't matter who was that wide receiver, even though he was top 3 in the league, or who's
at that point in time, he was the best receiver the best quarterback in the world.
Kelsey broke all the records last year. So, like, it was like, it didn't matter who was at tight end, even if he's on a historic run. It didn't matter if they had Carlos Edwards-Helaire, first-round pick, was doing pretty good. None of that mattered because that defense made sure it mattered. And the same with, like, Cam Newton when they went up against the Broncos. It didn't matter how bad Peyton Manning was. It just mattered making sure Cam Newton couldn't do nothing. And then, like, Russell Wilson doing that to the Seahawks, doing that.
Yeah, they probably scored 20 points on defense.
Yeah, it's still, I will say, and same with the 49ers getting to the Super Bowl and losing to the Chiefs. It was all because of a good run game. Raheem Morstead. I can't even name the other 2 running backs, but they just had, Kyle Shanahan had 3 running backs all putting up the yardage. And then,
they had Tevin Coleman bitch ass at the time too.
Bosa, Richard Sherman, like, it was a defensive team that just run them all those games.
Yeah, Richard Sherman was on that team. Richard Sherman lost his last 2 Super Bowls, but you ain't heard it from me though.
But yeah, so I will say there are, if your defense is really like that, yes, you can win a Super Bowl.
That's interesting. Because the second you said Bucks, I was like, damn, you're right. Like, Tom Brady threw 3 picks and the boys still made it to the Super Bowl. Just getting there is crazy enough. It's a motherfucker, and they were second half picks. Second half.
Well, speaking of Super Bowl, it's crazy. The Jaguars the Jaguars are still in the playoff race at 2 and whatever, but the Lions are out of the playoff race. No, my bad. The Lions are still in the playoff race because they're at 1 and 10, but the Texans and Jaguars are out of it at 2 and whatever, and that just shows like
AFC baby.
NFC, the NFC. Hey, bro, the Lions still alive. But Jaguars getting blown out in LA. I think everyone knew this was coming. James Robinson. Carlos Hyde got more touches than James Robinson, and I was fucking furious because I have him in fantasy football, and I was just like, this is why the Jaguars are complete shit of an organization. You are not giving your best players the ball. What am I supposed to expect out of you? Like, does everybody think he knows more than just like what's been going on in the NFL? Like, I'll switch it up. We'll use my backup running back today.
The Jaguars lost. Oh wow, that's crazy. I would have never to the right. Oh, I would have never seen that coming. What happened? Tell me about this game, Paul.
Oh, it was an onslaught. It was fucking. This was the game. Didn't I say I think the backup quarterback would come in for the Rams and score before the game is over? Well, it didn't happen. I don't think the Rams have a backup quarterback behind Stafford. Oh, they do. Jacob Eason, but he's terrible. But yeah, Stafford 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, almost a perfect game. Sony Michel got almost all the carries except for like 2. But 120 yards. Like, this is the Jaguars they're talking about. Like, they just got completely obliterated. They scored in every single quarter with the Rams. Like, it was just from beginning to end Ram football.
Hey, quick pro quote though before we move to the next game. Motherfucking, you reminded me. You know, Keenan Allen's the 3rd receiver on the Chargers. Not the 3rd receiver, the 3rd quarterback.
Wow, no, I didn't know that.
If the backup were to get hurt, if Jay Herbo didn't play in the backup were to get hurt, you would see Keenan Allen move to quarterback. That's why he threw the 2-point conversion.
I did not know that. That's pretty dope. I like my boy to do a little something, a little wildcat.
That's interesting. I like him to throw that thing. I don't like him to throw it far, but I like him to throw that thing.
Hey, speaking of someone throwing it but not far, Big Ben winning at home, 20 to your Lamar. I think you're might have put the Lamar in lowercase for a little bit after this loss, and then he threw 4 or 3 picks the week before.
Hey, you know what fucked me up when I seen this? I fell asleep watching this game. I don't think he threw any picks. And I woke up and I checked the stats. Because, no, they were winning 2 when I fell asleep. So that's what made me so upset that they lost by 1. Yeah, but I woke up and I checked the stats. I woke up and checked the stats, and motherfucking, for some reason, my sacks was in the interception. The number for the sacks was in the interception logo. So it said 7 sacks, and I thought it was 7 interceptions, and I threw my phone. I mean, there's no fucking way this nigga threw 7 interceptions. in the second half. How the fuck did that happen? But
nah, bro, that's so much.
I hit the button or two and everything got fixed. And I was still upset. Like, why the fuck did my dog get sacked 7 times? Like, the pressure that they were bringing this entire game was insane. Like, this man was breaking just not even to get close to the line of scrimmage. And if he getting up a sack, it's 9 yards. Like, this shit is far. They had to play in the shotgun the entire game. Like, from what I saw, they was in the shotgun the whole time. They was in the shotgun, they was throwing that bitch. Like, they knew they wasn't picking that bitch up under center. They didn't even have time to play action, that motherfucker. Like, they had to throw that shit. And Andrews, my new favorite tight end. Sorry, Kelsey. I remember the days. But Andrews, my new favorite tight end. If he had caught that 2-point conversion, it's a completely different story. Timing was a little off. Hands was a little bit off. Hey, man, God didn't want
was a little high.
God didn't want them to win that day. Like, but the thing was, it was like the way you see the catches Andrew makes, like the last game. Like, that wasn't something they couldn't do. Like, it's just like, hey, man, you can't win them all. That 2-point conversion, I don't think it was a bad choice because you didn't want to go to overtime with the way your offense has been playing. And, like, it was an ugly game. So, hey, the boys got to take it back to the lab and figure out what's going on. And Tony Dungy and Drew Brees and them, they made the really good points. The Ravens just aren't playing Ravens football. When they was rolling, when people were saying they was Lamar was MVP and stuff like that, it was running the motherfucking ball. Like, they got to figure out, maybe defenses are stacking the box on them. I haven't checked to see what people are doing against them. But, like, if they go back to running the ball efficiently with no matter with whatever running back they got, no matter who it is, the boys are straight. Devontae Freeman got some touches this week. I want to say he scored a touchdown. I could be tripping. But they just got to get back to playing Ravens football. That defense is hurt. Marlon Humphrey.
He's out
forever for the rest of the season. So, motherfucking, we pray for him. Hope he gets a nice recovery. See that boy next season, come back ready to ball. But, like, the Ravens just got to go back to playing Ravens football. John Harbaugh just needs to, whatever he's been drawing up, throw that shit away and go back to what happened. And, like, whatever's stopping them, just plot against that.
Yeah, I would say a lot of penalties. They had 10 to Steelers 5. They were kind of doing some self-inflicted wounds. They owned the possession of the ball. They had 36 minutes to the Steelers 23. So they had the ball for the majority of the game. They went down to the red zone 5 times, but they only scored twice, but I will say there were some big sacks also in those couple of those. I don't want to say it might be low, but there is always that thing on Lamar that's like, come playoff time, it's just like he doesn't, not that he doesn't show up, he just doesn't, either gets figured out, they put down like a safety blitz on the man and like force him to throw it because it would be like a spy with the safety. And then if he throws it like he did in this game, it's going to be kind of a repeat of some of their previous seasons where they kind of rolled through early, they kind of get slowed down towards the later, and then all of a sudden they get beat in the first or second round. And it's because
by Tennessee.
Yeah, and he'll get like 40 passes, but only complete like 22, 23 of them type shit. And he'll have like not that many rush yards. Because why? Because they're going to have people ready for him. And if the Steelers are doing, the Steelers have an elite defense with TJ Watt's on the field. 3 sacks for that boy. Can't disprove that. 10 games that he's leading the sacks. He's already has 2.5 more than Myles Garrett, or 2 more than Myles Garrett. And he's played 2 less games. So like I think he just
probably has more forced fumbles too.
I think so. I think he should defensive player of the year probably on his checklist, because last year he was right there for it, but Aaron Donald took his 3rd one home. So I think this is the year TJ Watt's probably going to get it, especially the way he's playing. And if the Steelers make the playoffs again, it's because of this defense. Fitzpatrick had an interception.
They're well coached. Mike Tomlin's defensive minded, and like, I don't know. This game was a game that made me. At first, I was thinking like, damn, I don't know if Mike Tomlin could do it, man. Keep another winning season. Like, I don't know. But this game showed me that like they're gonna come into every game and they're just gonna figure something out to keep going in the game, because they never quit. They never back down. The defense doesn't slow down even. Their defense and the Viking defense are 2 completely different entities. Like, their defense doesn't slow down even slightly. So like, it's going to be interesting to see if they can sneak their way into the playoffs. I don't like it because the AFC is pretty tough. If they was in the NFC, I could see them doing it. The AFC is kind of tough, but like, let's see what this Steelers team is about. And it's cool that like Big Ben, oh yeah, it's my last season with the Steelers. This might be my last season with the Steelers. You've been telling people and stuff like that. And everybody in the world just sat down and said like, bro, we was hoping you ain't play next season. Please don't tell me that you're trying to go to another team. Like, and nobody was like, we were like, bro, you can hang him up right now if you want. Nobody will say nothing.
Everyone thought he was retiring after last season, so him saying it now, I feel like they're not gonna say it out loud, but there's a lot of people in that locker room like, thank you. Like, no one can say it, but they're like, we're hoping, because if you would say he's coming back again, like, what the fuck? But
You feel is like, is he a Hall of Famer?
yeah, where his rings and where his stats lie, and his winning seasons alone.
Yeah, he was the first person. He had like 51 wins in his first 2 seasons. I guess that was, or like he was the first to fit. The amount of time that he got his first 51 wins was he faster than any quarterback, any player ever. But this man threw 20. I found out his completion percentage during the Super Bowl was only 22%.
Anyway, you could do
and
that.
Like the Super Bowl where they beat the Cardinals and stuff like that. No San Antonio. I didn't know that San Antonio Holmes wasn't just that one play. He's brought them down the entire field, like the entire day. If San Antonio Holmes doesn't see Larry Fitzgerald killing their ass and do the same thing, that's not the same game. That's not the same.
And he also did have Antonio Brown, who was like the fastest receiver ever at 10K. Then he also had Le'Veon Bell. But
at all, he's always had a special, but he's always been well coached. He's always been.
All that will be forgotten when it's time for the Hall of Fame. Like, those are something that we will remember. Like, whenever we point out, like, hey, bro, like Terry Bradshaw, fucking every Super Bowl he was negative. Like, his pass interceptions to touchdowns. Like, go look him up. Like, he was 14 touchdowns, 17 picks a year type of guy. But yeah, all that will be forgotten when you look back and it's just like, oh, he won 3 chips and that was the quarterback and that was the franchise player. So like a lot of things kind of get washed away or forgotten about, and because other people won't repeat it, they only remember the good stuff. It's only up to us people who remember the game or actually can like look into it and be like, and look at it unbiasedly and just be like, yo, he fucking sucked. This game he fucking blew. Like.
Yeah, he's had some great games. He's had some 500-yard games and stuff like that.
He's Hall of Fame because what does he have? 2 rings, MVP in both of them.
Really?
Maybe one of them. I don't think Troy Polamalu has a defensive MVP, and I think
James Harrison got a pick. And oh no, he definitely won MVP. Not damn. We gotta look at it up.
But that's just the position of quarterback. Sometimes he probably just won it because he was the quarter. Like, it's just. Hey, he's getting it. Even if it's not first ballot, he'll be second, third.
That'd be smooth. I like it. I'm just glad. Just finish it off, man. Just finish it off. Keep it moving.
Bye. You had a good run.
Hey, man. It'll be like that, man.
Now we have the 49ers. Jimmy G, who they've already said openly, Trey Lance will be our quarterback next year. Jimmy G will be traded. And then Russell Wilson, who just won. First game at home they won this year. I was on the Seahawks. But there's the speculation he will not be a Seahawk next year. There is talk that like they might just Pete Carroll. This might be Pete Carroll's last year. Hey, there's a lot of talk over there, like the passings of the torches.
No, it's because like the boys is really old. Like, no disrespect. And like if you take it like that, then it's disrespect. But the boys is old. Like rebuilding is a process. Like you can't just and like people like to write you off in the middle of a rebuild. Like people are gonna sit there and be like, man, it's blah blah blah, this blah blah blah. That remember back in the day, but nobody's gonna bring up that you had fucking 10 Pro Bowlers on your defense at one point. Like this shit was scary.
Oh, yeah. Like
you had Marshawn Lynch at one point, scary. You had like your receivers were you. Some people say that he had like a top 3. His 3 receivers were like top of our generation at one point when it had Tom, Curtis, Lockett, and Baldwin.
Doug Baldwin was a slow key beast.
Doug called Baldwin was our generation's version of Steve Smith, like the person that is the unsung person not talked about. He wasn't as great as Steve Smith because Steve Smith is. You see what he did with the Panthers. Like at one point, Jake Delhomme was his fucking quarterback, and he was still doing this thing. But like that's just my version. When I look at him, he's very similar to Steve Smith, Doug Baldwin, like somebody we're never gonna bring up, stuff like that. Like Wes Welker and Julian Edelman will get brought up more than Doug Baldwin, but like Doug Baldwin would ball out on all them boys, like not even close.
No, I think they're gonna blow it up, just because I think they understand like Russ could go win somewhere else, and I think Russ is open to the idea of not getting traded, but hey, in free agency, if someone else is offering me something, I'll go check it out. I'll go see what they got to offer. And I think Pete Carroll gave him the green light too, because I think there is talks of Pete Carroll himself talking about retiring, and he's okay with Russell leaving. He's not going to be there.
I think that's what I don't know. I'm not the guru on how to end football careers and stuff like that, but I think if you're not really thinking like, yeah, I'm down to go be tough. Like Bill could have retired after last year, but it was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna figure something out. It's the system. System still works.
Yeah.
So like,
spent $130 million on free agency, rebuilt that defense. Say, hey, we're gonna do it my way.
So like, I think that's the thing. If you guys aren't really down, if you don't have the mindset to be like, hey, yo, we're gonna rebuild this shit. Like we start from scratch. Fuck it. We still got bro on defense, Bobby Wagner. Like we'll figure this out. Like we can do this. Nah. If you're not really into that, like you might as well just keep it moving. So I think that's what this team, if that's what happens, that's kind of the energy this team was.
And if Russell leaves, I have a feeling even though their offensive line is bad and defense is not that great, someone will kill to have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett as their number one and number two receivers. They're like, hey, sign me up and show me the door. But they pulled out a good team win. I will say, did you see the interception on the 1 yard line for the 49ers, which kept the game close? Like the Seahawks could have won like 37-20, but they had a 1 yard throw, and this to sum up the Seahawks season. 1 yard throw, Everett catches it, he's falling back, it hits, and he's like, pops it up, and then he does the like while he's on it, like falling backwards in the end zone. He's like, I'm gonna kick it up towards myself. He kicks it, and then the fucking defensive back catches the motherfucker in this easy interception.
They're even working backyard football.
Yeah, so, but hey, Jimmy G threw 2 picks. But the Seahawks did have that big punt fake, 80-yard rushing touchdown. Outside of that, yeah, Travis Homer completely unblocked, took a fake punt that he's not the kicker, he's just like a backup running back. He's just standing there on it and then catches it, busts out left, no one's there, blows by everybody. He's like the second or third string running back, so he has some speed on him. And
that's interesting. That's really interesting.
80-yard touchdown, momentum, the Seahawks away. Seahawks carrying it. They get a couple interceptions on Jimmy G. They did their thing. Like they scored 23, but the Seahawks, I think with the big difference maker was that fake punt touchdown and the fact that they took 2 interceptions on Jimmy G. Like Jimmy G's also made some big mistakes, and the Seahawks got the interception, but it was on the 1 yard line. Like their offense was moving all the whole game.
That's good. Hey, I hope that Seahawks can string along some wins and figure out a way to end the season real smoothly, because like it's still a good team at the end of the day. They just gotta figure out a lot of stuff and start start making some splashes in the draft again. Because there was a point where they was making splashes.
Yeah, and if so they're 4-8 now. Like y'all are 5-7, and y'all are like the first team in the hunt. That's only a 1 game difference. All they have to do is just win a couple, and it's kind of.
I think there's 2 people that are 5-7.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, that's how close it's like 5-7, but there's like 3 teams 5-7, a couple teams like 5-6, 5-6, or not 5-6, but like 6-5 above y'all. But it's just all within a game or 2 games and won each other. So if y'all win out and these other couple teams ahead of you start losing.
Interesting.
49ers, George Kittle did this thing. 181 yards, 8 catches, 2 tuds.
182 TDs.
Yeah, number 2. I have him as like Travis Kelce is to me the clear-cut number 1 tight end. And Kittle is my number 2 when it comes to like tight end rankings. Some people like to put Waller there. I just think Waller hasn't done it consistency enough. And then Mark Andrews, I would put above Waller. And then I think that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 for me when it comes to, because then after that's kind of a big drop off. Oh, Kyle Pitts, low key making a name for himself. But Gesicki's right there, Schultz. Like it's just a drop off after 4.
What's Dawson and Cox?
For me, so like it'll be those 4, and then number 5, I put like Gesicki, number 6, Dalton Schultz, number 7, Pitts, number 8, probably Dallas Goedert out of the Eagles, and then maybe Knox at 9 and Noah Fant out of the Broncos at 10.
God damn it, fuck that. But what's it called? That's interesting. I'm gonna put on Dawson Cox. He's probably like one of my. Well, I don't have a tight ends list. I'm not even going to attempt to make one, but he's definitely like top 3, top 4 for me. Probably top 4, top 5 just for me. But I don't have him tight ends list. Like I don't
He's
even know.
just too young. Like I think this is his first or second year, so like he hasn't really. You have to bring that. You got to bring it a little consistency for me to throw you my top 3.
I like it. Well, good team win for the Seahawks. They needed that. It's Kyle Shanahan's seat is warm, cold, hot. We don't know. Like it's gonna be interesting to see what happens this summer with them boys because they could make some moves or they could just start playing better and then figure everything out. Go back to playing defense and running the ball, or they could just continue just having no real identity. Are you good, bad, sad, mad, glad? Like
Who knows?
we don't know. Like you lose close games, so your record isn't really gonna be the best example of what we just say for you. But like, what the fuck are y'all?
No, that's a good. Yeah, no, that's true. And Russell Wilson's now 14-2 against them. So like that divisional, like your seat gets a little hotter when you can't beat in division teams. Then, speaking of in division, we had Sunday Night Football. I was on the Broncos. I should have been talked out of it. You was on the Chiefs.
Hey, the Chiefs defense looking legit right now. That's all I gotta say. Right now, I know that I didn't say the Chiefs defense is legit. I said they're looking legit right now.
They're the only team where people. So when people say that about the Seahawks, like, oh, their defense is looking better. I take that as a grain of salt. This Chiefs defense in their last 5 is what like kind of is helping them win games, like because
they still make mistakes on offense.
Yeah, like Mahomes threw 184 yards for this game. Like that's not Mahomes like an interception, no passing touchdowns. They had a pick 6 on defense right at the end of the 4th quarter to make it within out of reach, but they had a little nugget that pointed out this is their out of the last 5 wins they got on the road. This is the Chiefs' second game only above 20 points. So it's not the offense that's the reason why they're really on this. So, like, hey, shout out to them because I was shitting on them early, and I thought it was the other way around. This offense can't do anything is how bad the defense is. So, hey, it might be the other way around right now. This offense is looking bad, but this defense is winning in the games.
That's true. That's very true.
And then shout out to Javonte Williams. First time as a starter, 23 carries, 102 yards. 6 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown, and really the only offense out of the Broncos.
That's very true.
Then we got, let's see, what was Monday night?
The Golden Tundra.
Oh, the Blizzard Bowl up in Buffalo.
That shit was crazy. They're just showing us what the stadium looks like before the game the entire time. And I'm just sitting here like, are y'all seriously about to play in this shit? That's crazy. But no, the game was fucking. What did they say the winds was at one point? 20 miles an hour?
25 to 30 with a 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gust that would like just randomly that fucking wind coming 50 mile per hour. That's a gust. Like, that's why they kicked it.
And it said it was like 30 something, but it felt like 20 something. Like that's football at its finest.
And it was packed in Buffalo. That's a shout out to the fans.
If you can play in the snow, you about it, man. I wasn't built like that. You see me, I'm talking about the shit on the podcast. But that game was interesting because like I didn't think the Patriots were gonna run in the first quarter. They almost did it. And like that boy Matt Jones only went 2 for 3, and like one of them was in the first quarter on the slant. So that means there's probably quarters that he didn't throw the ball at all. So like that's interesting that they got the not that they got the dub like that, it's that they can continue. That's the system. Like the system works versus versus Josh Allen. They have to keep throwing the ball. Like they have to figure something out. They couldn't change their entire game plan because of the snow. And I was just like, that's the difference. Like there's so many confounding variables in football. You can't keep up with everything. So like that's one of the things that makes the Patriots so special. Like they're the variable leaders. Like they don't believe in variables. They believe that their system works in every situation.
Hey, Buffalo already had a weak run game going into that game, and it was completely exposed. Like Zach Moss and Devin Singletary didn't like that was the whole thing. Like if you have to split it between two guys, then you don't have a guy. I guess that's the same when it comes to quarterbacks, but I guess it can be true with running backs. Like if you really have a committee, that means like none of them are really truly a guy. Outside of these new after like this year has been really like a start of something different where you have a star running back and then maybe a second one. But Devin Singletary was never a star. Zach Moss is never a star. They were just making it work with Josh Allen. And it was exposed because like, hey, Damon Harris, he's a guy for the Patriots, nice little running back. Ramon Stevenson's a guy. He got drafted into like Bill Belichick knows how to find running backs in the draft. Like that's something I would give him. He's a great. I don't know if it's him or the NFL scout that they got, but they know how to find these late round draft picks and that always plug in every year.
It's the system.
Yeah.
Sith Lord. It's the system. It's Sith Lord building the empire, man. They know what they're doing over there.
And hey, everyone knows you keep feeding the run game because something's gonna pop. Damien Harris, like,
bro,
64-yard rushing touchdown. Outside of that, it really wasn't like they were killing it on the ground game. It was like a lot of 3-yard runs, 2-yard, maybe a negative. There was a lot of negative yard runs too because like, they just knew you were running the ball.
Right, the Manning cast was fucking hilarious during this entire game. They was in that bitch because they during that pass they set up a play action. And it was like, this is the greatest play action setup I've ever seen. Like you gotta bite on it. Like, and then there was a point in time when they were running the ball, and then there was just there was a point in time Bill Belichick kept wiping his nose because it's cold outside. Kept wiping his motherfucking nose. Kept wiping his nose. Kept wiping. He's like David Letterman is sitting there like, God damn, Bill, get you a handkerchief during halftime or something. So VaynerCast had made this game interesting. Like VaynerCast made this game way more funny than it actually was because this game was slow. And it's the snow, man. You got to play like that. I was shocked they made as many field goals as they did. I think they made one for 41 or something like that. Some crazy shit like that.
And shout out, it wasn't past no 48. That was the over-under on field goal made was 48. And the moment I saw that win, I was like, hammer. I put $100 to win $100. It was like a 50-50. It was an even bet. I didn't sweat at all that whole game, bro. I was already counting my money, pouring up drinks, having a good time. I was like, bro. I was low-key rooting for the Bills because I saw a little thing that said if the Bills win, statistically, we have a better shot of going to the playoffs by like 12% versus if the Patriots win. So I had to, for my team, fuck the Bills and fuck the Patriots. I had to root for somebody. You know how it be playoffs time.
Well, no, I know exactly. Well, I don't know how it be, but like some people be telling me about it.
Hey, I've read the wrong thing. So that wraps us up for the whole weekend. That was a banger. Hopefully this next weekend's another banger. And it's again, I think every week from here on out is nothing but bangers just because every team has the 7th seed at least fight for it. And everyone wants it right now. No one wants the season to be a fail.
I can't wait for the last season because we got to play the Saints. And if we beat the Saints 2 times this year, it's going to be a great summer for me.
Hey, we're on a bye this weekend. Feeling good. I'll be at the next game where we bust the fuck out the Jets. But before I get ahead of ourselves, we have Thursday night football ahead of us. I think he's pretty good. I think, but shout out to the schedule makers because even if some ugly teams, they give me some even ass games, and I think this is gonna be another even ass game. You have the Steelers coming off a Lamar win, playing the Minnesota Vikings, who just lost to the Lions. Like it's in Minnesota. Minnesota is still fighting for the wild card, so are the Steelers.
And the Steelers tied with the Lions.
Yeah, they did. Like they both do not fuck with the Lions.
Right? They just can't beat the Lions. They're like, the Lions is looking at this like, these dudes is playing.
The Lions looking at them like, bro, these bozos gonna beat us.
They got these bozos. This is prime time to y'all, I guess. I'd rather go watch Monty feed the team play toss high.
Hey, all I know is I think this is gonna be the battle of Detroit's second best.
Hey man, both these teams are in the playoff hunt. Well, no, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess
They're both roughly just because they're on separate sides of the spectrum, NFC, AFC, but they're both really in the same spot when it comes to where they stand in their divisional runs.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how them boys play this shit. I think it's gonna be a close ass game. I just don't want it to be an ugly game, but it looks like it's gonna be an ugly game because like the Steelers not gonna score no 20 points. Like no, well, I guess they did have to do that to beat Lamar, but the Steelers not gonna score no 20 points in 3 quarters. Like it's gonna be a long drug out game. It's gonna be cold. It's gonna be a good one. Who you got in this one?
I'm looking at. I knew Deontay Johnson was balling this year, but low key I didn't know how close. Like so, Justin Jefferson, standout year right now. 78 catches, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. And then Deontay Johnson, who's leading the Steelers, has 76 catches, 915 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Nice.
Yeah, so hey, with the old Big Ben, because a lot of the big plays I see, like the 30-yard tuds, it's Deontay Johnson typically. And I don't know, but the ball placement for Big Ben will be beautiful. Only for Deontay Johnson. Only on like a fly route. Everyone else getting the ball to the dirt.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, deal with it. I mean, Minnesota's at home. They're 3-2 at home, whereas the Steelers are 2-3 on away games. But a few of those away games without T.J. Watt. This defense is different when they have T.J. Watt. And I'm just thinking, how is Captain Kirk going to feel? Prime time Captain Kirk. In Sports Gambling Podcast, they haven't dropped an episode yet, but one thing they've taught me over the years, no matter how much I love Captain Kirk, is you fade Captain Kirk on the prime time.
Yeah.
So when the big lights are shining, and without Dalvin Cook, or even if he does play, he is banged up. I think if he's banged up, you're better off with Morrison or Madison. I can't remember his name because he did pretty good last week, even though it's the Lions. So give me the Steelers on the way, and I think they know how to play in primetime a lot better. Big Ben, when he plays in primetime, he actually doesn't look too bad. He hasn't looked great, but he hasn't looked like the 1 o'clock Big Ben.
This is a tough one. This is a really tough one.
It is. I'm leaning towards who has the better defense, and I think with Everson being out, but at the same time, this is a team that just lost to the Lions, and now they're back at home. And you know they're hearing the murmurs.
Give me the Purple League people eaters, man. I'm gonna watch the fuck out this game. I'm not moving. I'm off on Thursday.
Give me actually. Oh yeah, give me. Yeah, I think the Purple People Eaters might pull up. Fuck prime time. Give me Captain Kirk. Give me them because I can't see them losing twice.
Yeah, if they had beat the Lions, I would have thought something different, but they didn't. And the Steelers just beat the Ravens.
Yeah, opposite side of the spectrums. And I think the Minnesota's a little bit more hungry after coming off a loss.
And I think their defense is just the truth. And I like their defense to come through. It's going to be a close-ass game, but it's going to come down to a field goal. So as long as that's going to be a tough one to drive on that defense in the fourth. But it's going to come down to a field goal. So we'll see what Justin Jefferson and Thielen got to do against those corners because they got to get open. They get open.
I think Thielen might be out. I'm not too sure how serious his injury was.
You got to start with that. You got to start with that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I got to double check though because he did leave the last game with an injury. I'm not sure if he's like, was it serious or what? Let me see. Injury report. He is doubtful. Short week. They're probably gonna sit him.
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna rock with the Purple People Eaters because I just don't think Big Ben is gonna play a really ugly game. But if the Steelers can pull this out, they're not gonna have a losing season this year. I don't care what their schedule is because they're gonna play every game the same way, ugly as fuck, and they're gonna dirty it out and they're gonna make you get dirty. If you're not willing to get dirty, you're gonna go down.
See, I don't want to root for the Steelers because we need them to lose for the Dolphins playoffs pictures to kind of look better. And that's what's leaning me towards Minnesota. But that's what happened when I wanted the Broncos to win also. And I can't And not Broncos. I want the Bills to win. And I'm letting my heart pick my team. I can't. Give me the Steelers. My final pick. I'm just gonna let them.
That's a good pick, man. You're not wrong either way. I would have felt more comfortable picking the Steelers, but I want to see what the Purple People Eaters got going on. Because if they lose this game, they're not making the playoffs. If the Steelers win this game, they got a shot. But I just know they're not gonna have a losing record.
And right before we wrap up, Captain Kirk. I'm looking at his stats right now.
Yo, cousin Kirk.
What do you think his numbers are? And to give you reference, this is Big Ben's numbers. He has 2,700 yards, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
I wouldn't be surprised. The way Justin Jefferson is playing right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins was like top 6 in passing yards and top 10 in touchdowns. Like if I were to guess, I don't know what everybody else's numbers are because everybody only shows touchdowns and interceptions. But I would have guessed he'll probably end the season with 4,000 plus, maybe 20 to 32 touchdowns. I'm not a big stats guy, but I don't think he's doing bad. I think he's probably statistic wise, he's probably having a Matt Ryan as it, because remember they do play these close ass games every game, so you gotta be able to throw the ball late night. And Dalvin Cook has been injured a lot, so yeah, I would say that he has probably some decent stats, but nothing too great. Not the greatest, but it's good stats.
3,300, 25 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Nice.
3 interceptions is what stands out to me.
I'm not gonna hold you. He has better numbers than I don't know. If he's 5 touchdowns away from being up there with Brady in the boys.
Yeah, but at 3 picks, I didn't know he was not. I thought he had 6 or 7, somewhere around middle of the pack. But hey,
how many fumbles though? He probably has 3 fumbles too.
Probably they don't show that. Hey, they want to keep the QBs pretty now. But so that wraps us up. That was the final game, or the first game to open us up on the next week. I'm gonna pour up my shot as my co-host, as always.
Hey man, it's time to break it down. Hey man, this has been the Totally Blitz podcast. You bitch. If we had shots for you, you bitch. We had takes for you, you bitch. And I'm about to pack your bone because I got some smoke for you, you bitch. So yeah, man, I appreciate you for watching this shit. Paul appreciates you for watching that shit. Motherfucking, when we finally start getting paid off of this shit, my bills are gonna appreciate you for watching this shit. So don't just watch this shit, share this shit. Hey, and if you really fuck with it, download this shit because we on Spotify and other streaming services. We'll be on Apple Podcasts by next season. So, hey man, this has been a Totally Blitz podcast. We fuck with you the long way because there's a lot of people that we sent this shit to and they ain't watch it, but you did. So we fuck with you. So, hey man, thank you. And this has been a Totally Blitz. It's your boy Lil KK, aka the Don PYE. Paul Pick'em winning concert with the big weird, the big bankroll, and the clout goggles, because we see through all the bullshit.
Ain't fooling me.
It's been Totally Blitz, you bitch.
Got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you can call them boy crap, man. This gang got rules, man. You better watch your passes. This ain't